Hi, everybody. As you know, I keep talking to industry leaders or inspiring personalities. I don't want to keep these conversations just to myself. I want to make those conversations available to you too. In that spirit, I'm excited to introduce you today to Elias Ghanem. Elias is the global head of market intelligence for financial services at Capgemini. He is an inspiring leader, inspiring teams all over the world, and somebody I'm privileged to know. Today, we're going to get to know him and his popular management techniques, including the OOPS management approach. Thank you for being with us today, Elias. Please tell us more about you and some of your personal and professional milestones until now.
So bonjour from Paris, where I am right now. Meera, look, I am 51. To make it very simple, what did I do in my last 51 years? And I say we because family-wise, I met my wife in Barcelona. I married in Buenos Aires, had the first daughter in Buenos Aires, went to the US, had 3 kids, then went to Singapore, no kids, then went to Lebanon, then went to Barcelona, and now I landed in Paris. What did I do across all these years and traveling, other than having wonderful kids around the world, is really connecting with people. And through my business experience, I worked for Visa, I worked for PayPal, I did my own startup, and now I am with Capgemini. The common trend in all that is people, 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 culture, culture, culture. Mm-hmm. And if I must say something, I love it. And one thing for you to know about me, I dream in 5 languages.
Wow. How do you choose which language to dream in?
In fact, I don't choose. Depending on the language I speak most during the day, I dream in this language. And I'll let you guess what are the 5 languages.
Well, let me guess. Lebanese, English, French, Spanish.
Yes, and the last one is the difficult one.
Don't tell me it's Hindi.
Not yet, but it might be the 6th one because I work a lot with Indian, but I will come to that. In fact, it's Portuguese Brazilian.
Portuguese Brazilian. Wow, fantastic.
I worked a lot in Sao Paulo and I loved it. And by the way, if there's one place I'd love to go have a professional experience, is Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, awesome. Could you please tell us why that is?
Why is that? Because if there is one people on earth that enjoy living, enjoy their life, are Brazilian.
Yeah.
They are, whatever they do, as much difficult it can be or easy it can be, they enjoy it. And it's a culture of life, by the way, quite close to the Indian. Indian are really into having a good moment. I remember one day I was in India and one person got his phone ringing and it was an Indian music. And instead of shutting it down, he let it go and everybody started kind of engaged.
In one of our previous conversations, I was inspired particularly by a management approach that you've developed, the OOPS methodology. Can you tell us what it is and how you use it?
In fact, in all my years as being an employee and then being a leader today, I realized there is one very, very important word that I like it when I was an employee and when I was a leader is empowered. Whenever I felt empowered, i.e. free, I did a lot, some mistakes and a lot of good things. So I made it a theory. I made it a management methodology. And by the way, in each call that I have, introduction call with any one of my staff, I always tell them, by the way, do you know what is my management style, which is scary as a point. And when somebody tells me no, I say, oh, you haven't been well introduced to the organization. And I tell them it's OOPS management. What is it? If I make it very simple, if I tell you, Meera, you are empowered, go crazy. What you will do, because you're a responsible person, you will mostly do things very good. And from time to time, it will not go well. If I give you the chance to you come to me and saying it's an OOPS call, i.e. it did not go well, and we're going to solve it together. And today with all my team, I tell them from the beginning, we are under the OOPS management approach. So go crazy. And because you're a professional, you will do it well. But because you are free to do, sometimes it could go a little bit further of what you could have thought of. In that case, just give me a ring. And I had people in my team who said, Elias, this is an OOPS call. And by putting that framework, automatically we are not anymore what did you do? How did you do it? You should not have done it. All this hierarchical approach that scares people. And as such, they don't feel empowered. My opposite is whenever somebody calls me and say, this is an oops call, fantastic. I remove my hat of why did you do it? And I change immediately in, okay, you escalated to me, we will solve it together. Mm-hmm. And I know that the person who did that did 7 out of 10 amazing things, and things don't go well each time. So oops, cover that, and we solve it together.
And I'm assuming that we can use this across cultures?
Big time. Mm-hmm. And talking about cultures, some cultures are more open to that or not.
Yeah.
I worked a lot with at PayPal, and PayPal is a very oops culture. In fact, in PayPal, the first time I came and said, ask for excuse, don't ask for permission. Mm-hmm. In the sense that go fast, run fast, and sometimes doesn't go well. Oops.
Yeah.
Raise your hand and say sorry.
Yeah.
And then you get it solved. This is the very good culture. I work a lot with Indian. My team is out of India, and I've been encouraging them to adopt it, to embrace it, and to feel empowered to do it. And for me, the more they got this empowerment, this liberty to think, the amazing creativity that you have in your culture only came out and expressed itself. So really, it works all over the place. It works even more where people have the liberty to go crazy and think.
Mm-hmm. What, in your opinion, makes the oops management style so effective, Elias?
It's really giving from the beginning. And that's why on day one, when somebody joined the team, I tell them, we are, as of now, into the oops management. And why do I say that at the beginning? So they don't get narrowed in their thinking. Logically, in any corporation, slowly but surely, somebody will tell you, oh, we've never done it this way, so don't do it that way. And I want them not to follow that. At the opposite, I want them to challenge everything we do, not everything 24/7, but be like, oh, maybe look, there is different things I could do. By the way, I brought from my previous company something cool that was testing. Oh no, we don't do it this way in our company. Why not?
Yeah.
Maybe we can learn. So if it starts from minute one, when you educate your children from the minute one, you tell them, dream big and try not to go wrong each time. But if you go wrong, no big deal. Come to me and I will help you solve it. Now, if you do it every time wrong, that's another question.
Yeah, that's a performance issue probably.
People are responsible, and people will do it the right way only because they are responsible. And the more you are empowered, the more you learn, the more you feel strong and responsible, and the better you do it. So really, it's a virtuous circle that we try to do.
Brilliant. Great. That brings me to the next question, Elias. You work so much with Indians. What advice would you have for Indians aspiring to make a bigger mark in on the world stage, given your intercultural leadership experience across cultures, including India?
There are 3 things that I really, really, really enjoy a lot with Indian I worked with. How good you are in math. By all means, whenever I am in front of an Indian and in front of an Excel sheet, I do not compete. I am like, I don't like maths, first. And second, in front of Indian, in fact, you do macros with your eyes. You're able to relate to tables only by looking at an Excel sheet. For me, an Excel sheet are numbers that are competing against each other. That's one. Second, you know how to argue. You know how to build an argument.
Okay.
So when you are giving the floor, by the way, you never leave it. You hold on it. And you speak very well. And third thing is you speak brilliant English, very pure English.
Yeah.
Now, the challenge that I see is many Indians don't feel empowered to speak themselves out. So the tone of voice is low. And then the only way to compete is to speak all the time. And for me,
overcompensation.
You never put a silence. And for me, a silence in a conversation is fundamental.
Yeah.
And playing with the voice is essential. So in all the discussions, so in my role and in our team, we do a lot of presentations to execs. And we make the point, so I spend a lot of time discussing with my team on the deck. and lightening the deck, by the way. You are so able to process so much information in your education you are doing, but I am not. So I need small messages, light messages, simple messages, more pictures than word. And if they're few words, and not everything need to be bold, not everything need to be big. Play with it. As much as you play with the voice, and your hands, you play with the colors and the fonts and so on. And you put silence. And just by putting silence and by elevating your voice and by smiling, man, you win the audience. And that's what it would be if the team the people I work with, if with the skills they have, and when they improve on this soft skills of engaging, nobody can beat. And if there's one thing that is very important, is smiling. Nothing more than smiling makes you a major impact, create a major impact. And by the way, smiling is not only smiling when you see me, but when you hear me, also it's smiling. And smile gets you a very powerful engine. First, in terms of emotion sharing. Second, in terms of, because you smile, your speed of voice need to reduce. You can't go crazy. And finally, I notice it myself. I do have an accent when I speak. I'm French, and of course I have an accent. Just by smiling, you reduce your accent, because you are forced to articulate further. And the more you articulate, the more people can understand you. I can tell you, I had to present to people in Australia, and oh my God, talking about accent. Then I had to present to people in Ireland, tell me about another accent. I had to present in Sao Paulo, and all that in English, and tell me about accents. Then even American have do accents. So, and now be French, talking to French in English. Imagine the difference. So the common thing is the smile, the hands to use, and I never do that. I never do this. I always do that. Just from the heart to the giver. And I love playing with silence.
And silence is an underrated skill.
It's scary. Silence is, if I don't talk, I'm giving you the chance to talk, and then I will not be able to take it back. But it's a risk to take, because if I go quiet, sometimes people will step in and you need to let them go, and you know that they have nothing to say. One thing that always had a lot of fun when I was in India is people interrupting you and saying, what you are trying to say is this and that. And first time I went there and I look at them saying, I think I know what I'm trying to say. But it happened to me quite often. And now when they tell me that, I let them finish. And I said, well, that's what you think. Now let me tell you what I think.
Thank you for sharing with us nuggets of precious leadership wisdom, Elias. I'm sure people would want to know more about you, and learn from your experiences, leadership, and wisdom. Could you tell us how people can connect with you?
Well, of course, connecting with me on LinkedIn is the easiest way, because you will see what I'm doing. I'm quite active on Twitter. It's my last name _ my first name. So Ghanem _ Elias. Very active in talking about the future of the financial service sector. Having worked for Visa, having worked for PayPal, having had my own startup, and now being at Capgemini into the financial services, we have the opportunity to observe what is happening, with a unique luxury of being able to observe it in North America, in Latin America, in Europe, in Africa, in the Middle East, in Asia, in Australia, and being able to connect the dots and the trends across the world. So that's what I do. LinkedIn, you will, on a regular basis, I have talking to any event on a weekly basis. So I invite you to look at it and see if I do it quite well, what I preach in terms of smiling, posing, using my hands. And if I don't, I invite you all to come back to me and let me know. But be nice to me when you do that.
Yes, we definitely will. Thank you once again for this amazing conversation, Elias. I hope to talk to you again real soon.
Let's make it happen.